We know that previous administrations did a cross-benefit analysis on whether to assassinate Soleimani, and their assessment was that he wasn't worth the trouble. That has been the assessment of the Israelis and other allies, as we've learned. Many have wanted the opportunity to take him out and known he is a malicious actor. So what made this different? That it didn't require clear deliberation of what was going to be.
So Ilhan Omar jumps online claiming Iran hasn't attacked Americans, and within minutes, the internet absolutely explodes. But then Byron Donalds steps in and, in less than 60 seconds, completely destroys her entire argument with cold, hard facts. This wasn't politics, it was a reality check. What you're about to see is one of those moments where truth hits harder than any headline. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Make sure you're subscribed because stories like this are heating up fast. Ilhan Omar said what? Let's roll the clip and unpack the truth behind her shocking Iran claim, and why Byron Donalds' response might just be one of his most powerful moments yet.
Make of all of this, Congressman?
First of all, Ilhan is wrong. Obviously, the State Department corrected the record. We know that Iran, through their proxies, have doled out death to Americans. We also know that there is no way that Hamas would have attacked Israel, in which, yes, there were Americans who were either killed or taken hostage without Iran approving that attack. That's just a fact. And so for my colleague to make a statement like that is just completely ignorant. And so, look, at this point, Israel is the one that is carrying out these airstrikes against Iran. A nuclear Iran is something the entire region does not want to see. Obviously, Israel doesn't want to see that, but many other countries in that region don't want to see it as well. And so to make these kind of statements to me is just pure ignorance. And frankly, it defiles the members of our country who have been killed by Iranian proxies or by direct Iranian attacks over the years.
Oh, you know, in 2022, surviving family members and victims from Iran's attacks won a case against Iran, holding the regime accountable because of its support for terror actors who killed or injured 30 U.S. personnel in Afghanistan. We should point out more than 7,050 U.S. service members have died since 9/11 in war zones in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in the Middle East. Many of them at the hands of Iran. Let's get your reaction to this. Let's go to the co-host of ABC's The View, basically attacking what Israel is trying to do in its fight for survival. Watch this.
Well, that's what I think is very problematic, because what people aren't talking about is that Israel preemptively struck Iran. And so I think the conversation would be very different if another country preemptively sent missiles to this country, right? No one would be saying, this is fine with... Sure.
Because I think that the Iranians and the Israelis believe that Iran would like to completely destroy Israel. That Iran is an actual existential threat to Israel.
But that does
So they're saying, if you're trying to kill us, we want a nuclear bomb. And we don't want you to have a nuke.
That is fine, but you have to do that legally and under international criminal law.
Well, Iran's launched tons of missiles against Israel in the last few years.
You're not supposed to do this.
Okay, your reaction to that, Congressman?
I mean, look, first of all, I would say at least at some point there was some semblance of reality on The View. The truth is that Iran backed Hamas, they backed Hezbollah. Hamas would not have attacked the Israelis without Iranian approval. That is a fact. Number two, the Iranian regime has called for the complete death of Israel. They've called for it multiple times. So at some point, are you going to believe your enemies and what their true intents are? A nuclear Iran is not in the interest of Israel. It's not in the interest of the region. And I would add, it's not in the interest of the United States. So at this point, for Israel to take action, what other choice did they have? Were they really going to sit there and watch the Iranians get nuclear weapons with ballistic missile capabilities and then sit back and do what? Negotiate at the table year after year after year, basically at the butt of the gun? Israel wasn't going to do that. They've been warning about this for years. This is not something new. And so once it became clear that Iran was close to actually having nuclear weapons, then they decided to act. And let me also bring this other argument coming up because this one is happening in the United States. This is very different from the WMD conversation with Iraq back in the early 2000s. There was skepticism about WMDs in Iraq. We could always go back down that history. There is no dispute about the Iranians trying to get a nuclear weapon system. No dispute whatsoever.
Congressman Byron Donalds, always a pleasure and wonderful to have you back on the show. It's great to see you again. Thanks for joining us. Now listen to this.
So, Ilhan Omar is trending again, and this time, it's for claiming Iran hasn't attacked Americans. You really can't make this stuff up. But before we dive in, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss it when we break down the madness coming out of Washington. Here's what actually happened. Omar went on Twitter and said, "No one's attacked Americans," blaming Israel for supposedly dragging the U.S. into another conflict. But here's the reality check. The Pentagon has confirmed that Iran and its proxies have killed nearly 900 Americans since 1983. That includes the recent drone strike in Jordan that killed 3 U.S. service members. Enter Byron Donalds, and he didn't hold back. Speaking on Fox Business, he called Omar's comments not only wrong but downright disrespectful to the Americans who've lost their lives to Iranian-backed terrorism. Donalds reminded everyone that Hamas and Hezbollah, both heavily funded and armed by Iran, have carried out countless attacks, and that Hamas's assault on Israel couldn't have happened without Iran's green light. That's how their network operates. Even on The View, some hosts couldn't deny the truth. Iran has openly called for Israel's destruction. Yet others still tried to twist the story, painting Israel as the aggressor. But Donalds wasn't having it. He said flat out, "A nuclear Iran is a threat to everyone, not just Israel." And he's right. This isn't some Iraq-style fake WMD story this time. Everyone knows Iran is racing toward nuclear weapons. Waiting around isn't strategy. It's suicide. Israel's acting now because hesitation means annihilation later. The bottom line, Ilhan Omar's tweet wasn't just ignorant, it was dangerous. Comments like that project weakness to regimes that feed on American indecision. So what do you think? Should Omar face accountability for spreading this kind of reckless rhetoric? Drop your thoughts below, and if you made it this far, you're part of the crew that wants truth over talking points. Hit that like button, subscribe, and don't miss our next video where Byron Donalds exposes even more hypocrisy in Washington. Trust me, you'll want to see this one.